another episode of Conversations of Faith. We're so excited that you joined us today. My name is Adam Rogers. I'm the creative pastor here at Faith Renewed Church. I'm here with our lead pastor, Pastor Terry Rogers.
What's up, guys?
It has been a while.
A long
Yeah.
while, bro.
And you guys might be
Wow.
thinking, man, it's been so long that they're not even in the same place anymore.
They have done moved out.
And that is true. Hopefully we're trying to get things to look a little better, have a little bit of a different space. You know, typically if you come to Faith Renewed, if you ever watched any of the live streams, you'd see before we were just set up right on the edge of the stage.
Yeah.
Now we're back in our student center.
Yeah.
And just with kind of the way that we do services for students and youth,
Multi-use here. This is a multi-use
This has
room.
definitely become more of a multi-use. So yeah, we got some couches that kind of just stay back here now, and we get to come back here and just record some podcasts.
Yeah.
So hopefully that means that we'll have some more coming your way.
Yeah. We've added another
so-
use to the multiple usages of this room.
Birthday parties,
But this is
wedding
cool, man.
receptions,
This is
probably
nice.
weddings.
No, there's been there's been a wedding, funerals.
Everything,
There's been everything. Yeah.
everything back here. So
Yeah, you name it. It has happened.
yeah,
probably in
so
this room.
so cool all the memories that have been made in this room, and
Yeah.
hopefully we get to make some more just recording some podcasts.
So if this looks better, thumbs up.
Yeah.
Comment if it looks better. Yeah, if it doesn't look better,
it definitely looks different.
if
We
it's-
know that
If you
for
think
sure.
it looks, comment if it looks better or worse to you.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with that.
Right,
Yeah.
if
We have
it's
more lights now.
better lighting.
Yeah, so hopefully this looks good. Maybe we need to we talked about maybe getting a Conversations of Faith neon sign behind us, something that would look cool. That would be cool.
Yeah,
So
that would
get
look
something
good.
behind us. It's a little
Yeah,
plain
give us
now.
some
It's a little
recommendations
plain
on what
now.
we need. Yeah.
Send us something in. Viewers, send something in.
Yes.
We don't have a P.O. box or anything. Just send it to 505 South Main
Yeah.
Street.
5. Hook us up.
But yeah, no, so I'm super excited to
Yeah.
be back. I think this couch is a little bit more comfortable than what we had before. But
This is good.
yeah, like we were saying, it's been a long time. So we don't have one specific topic that we're getting in today, but we just kind of want to talk about where we've been, what's been going on. But before we do any of that, we want to talk about, hold up, we might need to cut this because we weren't prepped. Do we need to do a listener of the year for 2025?
Man.
We've had a couple people that are in the contender spot, not because they did anything extravagant, but just because they won't stop talking about it.
That's true. I think that's I don't know if we should.
It's a
I don't
bad
know-
idea?
I don't know if we should go there, man. It may hurt feelings if
Yeah.
we don't.
Maybe we
We
should
have-
put like a poll
Yeah,
on
but
the.
we have been we are
YouTube.
very appreciative of all of our listeners of the
Yeah.
week, man. You guys are amazing.
So we'll just do a listener of the week. All
Yeah,
right, we
yeah,
we
we'll
won't do listener of the year.
Yeah.
Richie Few doesn't get listener of the year. Okay, so we'll move on.
That's funny. That's funny.
All right.
That's
So
fine.
who's our listener of the week this week?
This week's listener of the week is the one and only Chris Jackson.
Chris Jackson.
Chris Jackson, bro.
The
That
man.
literally one of my favorite
The legend.
people in the world, man. Love Chris Jackson, bro. Thank you, man. Appreciate you for listening, checking out Conversation. I met him in the gym years ago, man, and just started talking, hanging out at the gym, and became friends. And man, he's just man, very close friend of mine. And I'm
Yeah.
very thankful for him. And
One of the most encouraging, like uplifting people to be around.
I would say that. Yeah,
I think he's just
yeah.
like somebody you get around him, you get out of your head, and you just can have a good time. So
Awesome.
I love
Thanks,
him,
Chris.
man. Yeah,
Love you, bro.
Chris, you're the man.
Yeah, and you can become listener of the week as well. All of you guys who are watching or listening to this, every one of you can become listener of the week at some point by.
There's a couple ways.
Yeah.
There's a couple ways you can do this. My personal favorite way is by going public with this thing. Post on your social media page,
Share it,
or you
yeah.
could share it on Facebook, share those links there, or just hop on the YouTube comments. So if you don't know, if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, we actually post all these in a video format. We were just talking about how great it looks now, but we post all these in a video format on our YouTube channel. That's just the Faith Renewed Church YouTube channel. So you can go there, leave a comment. Let us know how podcast is helping you in your walk, or maybe if there's questions you have or topics, leave that there. You can always leave a review on any of the podcast platforms. The only way that we can see that to recognize you is going to be on Apple Podcasts. That's the only way that we can see those written reviews.
Yeah.
So if you do that, but then last but definitely not least, we do have an email set up for Conversations of Faith, and that is conversations@faithrenewed.org. So if you send us an email there, it actually will get forwarded to both of us so that we can both see those.
Yeah. In other words, we're saying all this to say thank you for listening, man. We appreciate it. It's not a podcast if you don't listen. Well, there is one, but
There is.
Yeah.
If a tree falls and no one's around situation.
It still happens, but
we don't know.
it still happens. But no, it makes us, I think, at least feel better to know somebody's listening.
One person.
Absolutely, man. And we do this. It has been so long, man, but we still do this, and we will continue to do this. We open up with a verse, with a passage, and again, it's Conversations of Faith. Faith comes by hearing the word, and so I'm actually just wanting to share one verse with you guys on this podcast, and this is the one I'm gonna be preaching from this Sunday, and I want to elaborate on it. Just come. Or check out that podcast when it comes out. But therefore, if the Son makes you free, you shall be free indeed. Come on. And so that is today's verse passage. I'm just so thankful. We're going to be talking about today, just when we say there's no agenda, this podcast literally just right before it started, we're like, here's some ideas, some things we can talk about. So there's it may show, but there's no planning or prep for this one at all.
We both have a note pulled up on our phone that we typed out right before this, just to kind of keep us on track.
Yeah, to help us stay on some target. Just literally just going to have a conversation today. No agenda, teaching, pushing, sharing, any of those things. But one of the things that we want to talk about later on is sadly there is in the faith world folks who are in bondage, and this passage tells us that there is a God who can set you free and totally free, and it's an indeed free. I mean, like, bro, this is another level, and that's what we believe God can do. And so if you're watching today, we hope that verse just encourages you to know that you can have freedom in any area of your life. I don't believe God wants you free in 99 of the areas, but still have 1% of your life is in bondage. So He wants you free indeed, totally free. So that was a verse kind of felt led us to share. I'm going to be speaking on it, so I guess it's maybe fresh in my heart a little bit right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's it. But let's talk about it, man. What's up? What's going on, man? Me and you.
Yeah, I'm going to say this before we even move forward.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a coincidence that you're going to be diving into that this coming week when we just had baptism.
Ooh,
we just celebrated baptism and put some people in the water. As of this recording, it was this last week. And so I think it's cool to go from that. And I think sometimes, you do something like that, the enemy is going to come at you a little bit harder. And so I think it's going to be really fruitful to dive into that in this podcast, but also this Sunday. So I think that's cool.
That's good. Yeah.
But yeah,
by the way, baptism, man, I love baptisms, but man, there's something special about what God does through baptism. And just was having the conversation with some guys at breakfast this morning about that subject. And there is just that act of obedience, what we refer to here at Faith Renewed as next steps. It is something. Anytime you walk out and step out in obedience, God does something. And what's really cool is I've already heard this week some testimonies from some of the folks who got into the waters of how God is setting them free and doing a work in their life, who have already reached out and have others come in this Sunday.
Come on.
Who saw their baptism and watched what God was doing in their life and are coming because of that. So it is something. There is something very special about it.
I mean, that's the thing too, man, is that everything just flows out of obedience. If we're walking in obedience in every area, that's when we're going to be truly free, dude. That's so cool.
Obedience is greater than sacrifice, bro.
Come on, that's so good.
Yeah.
But let's jump into kind of some of the things that we had, I guess lined up. If
you can't, no, this is not lined up.
If an Apple Note typed out 30 seconds before we started recording is a lineup.
That counts.
But yeah, we kind of have always taken a break around this time of the year. I'll kind of clarify this. We haven't pushed this too hard. I think we may have mentioned it in a previous podcast, but hopefully our hope moving forward is you've kind of seen that we've gone through little spurts of like, all right, every week we're posting these podcasts, and sometimes it's been every other week. Sometimes there's been 2 months in between. We want to try to create some consistency so you kind of know what you're getting into when you subscribe to this podcast, because really that's what we want to do. We don't want it to just be like, okay, I listened to this one cool podcast. We want to be a part of each other's lives and create a community around this thing.
That's
So
good.
the hope is to be posting these every other week, and we'll just do that year round. So
Yeah.
hopefully you won't catch us lacking.
Yeah.
Coming at the end of this year when holidays and stuff come
Right.
again, but
And
we
that's
want
usually
to.
when we,
That's when
that's when we
step
saw the
back a
fall
little
off.
bit.
Yeah, it was the holidays. Yeah, so without a doubt. So the every other week, I'm down, bro. Let's make that
Yeah,
happen.
so we'll be posting these every other week, and you can get those anywhere you typically get them. But yeah, I mean, the first thing that where have we been? It's been the holidays. That's something that's always been super important to us, even since I was young. Is we've always been very intentional about making sure that we have plenty of time during the holidays to spend time together. So that's something I've always super valued growing up, and now I see even the bigger importance of it now.
Yeah.
You don't realize how crazy life is until you grow up a little bit, and so as a kid, you love it obviously, but you don't see the value in how cool getting to just sit down and spend time with family and talk about a bunch of nonsense and just hang out, like how valuable that time really is. And you realize as you get older how much that time really flies, and you don't want to miss those opportunities.
Yeah.
So yeah, this year, I mean, holidays were so full, left me so full physically, and left me full emotionally.
Yeah.
It was a good time. Just
Were your
going
boys
through and
growing up,
getting
and
yeah.
he's enjoying this, really
Mhm.
first ones you kind of, whereas things are starting to click a little bit for him, and it makes a little more sense.
Yeah, that I think that brings things into a lot of perspective. Having kids changes a lot of things.
Yes, it does.
In your day to day life, but you cry a lot more
Yeah.
for good reasons and sad reasons. But you start to realize the value of a lot of things and see how important
Yeah.
these things are that you've taken for granted.
Yeah.
And I think once you get into this portion of life, I'm 28. I'm 28, I think.
Are you 28?
I'm 28
Man,
years
you're
old.
Wow.
So old. No, I will. It's crazy that I'll never be as old as you.
One day you will be.
No,
One day you'll be this old.
but I won't be as old as you will be when I'm there.
That's true. That's true.
But
You're right. You're right.
you start to see that perspective of that life that's passed behind you, and you see the little ones growing up, and it's like, man, I just want to soak up every single moment. I don't want to miss any
Yeah.
of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I guess. How have the holidays changed for you as you've gotten older and you kind of have that perspective?
Oh man. Well, one, I just realized how fast they come around, and have are totally. And I'm hearing this from folks my age, older, and even really what's really wild is from younger folks as well. How quick time is going by, and we just last week here, the 1st of February, it's our annual time. Our church started February 4th, 2007. So we just coming off of 19 years as a church.
That's so crazy.
Which is absolutely wild. We were snowed in and dealing with all that during that time frame, but it was absolutely wild. But for me, I guess it's just seeing how quick they come around is amazing. I think I don't know, I think I still kind of view them very similar. I'm just seeing it now with the grandkids. I saw it, I watched it through you guys. Now I'm kind of almost getting to relive it, so it's really cool. I know, I know why now everybody loves them, talks about grandkids being awesome, is because I'm kind of reliving it again. So it's almost like the same type deal. I think I just have more of probably appreciation for it. And I think that happens as you get older. You get more of appreciation for things. And so if you can get that stuff early, that's one of the things I've taught and tried to say is like enjoy these moments because they go fast.
Yeah, I think one of my I think I may have mentioned this before on the podcast, but one of my mentors that I look up to, I was talking to him shortly after we had Joa, and he was like, "Yeah, man," he was like, "I've got a lot of kids, and they're older now," and he was like, "I have buddies of mine. They're like, man, I can't believe my kid's 16. It's just so crazy." And he said, "You know what? I can believe it." He said, "Because I didn't miss the moments."
It's good.
And so, if you got young kids, don't miss the moments.
Don't
Don't
miss
miss the moments. Yeah,
Yeah.
fight for them and
Mentorship, man. We're going to be
prioritize
talking
'em.
about that tomorrow. We're going to record tomorrow
Yeah.
on that very subject.
Yeah, we got one of our buddies coming in. We're going to talk about that. So yeah, we've got some things in the works
Yeah.
coming up.
Thanks for
We
having
we haven't forgot about the podcast.
No, we haven't forgot
promise.
about you. Yeah,
We
no matter of
promise.
fact, we've been working on this area too. That took a little setup time.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, another thing, I guess, as far as where we've been, the holidays lead for us here at Faith Renewed leads into our 21 days
Yeah.
of prayer and fasting. And so a lot of things will get put back because this gets put forward. Prayer and fasting becomes a priority, should always be a priority in your life, but it takes a very special place at the first of our year here. With 2 prayer services, AM and PM services, and fasting, and just all the prep that goes into that. So yeah, so one of the things, we didn't do any recording for podcast during that time. We're actually pumped. We're going to come in on the tail end of that and do it. And then we had what happened here in South Carolina that doesn't happen often.
We finally had some snow.
Yeah, man.
Well, we
Yeah,
had something
back-to-back
that
weeks
was
of
not snow, that was
No.
boring, and it was
Yeah.
like scary for a lot of people with power, maybe going out. But then we had some good snow.
Yeah, it was.
We
good
had
snow.
some good snow, so that was fun to get out and actually like play in that, and
A lot of ice, first storm,
Yeah.
and then snow, second
which is
storm.
kind of our typical. That's
Yeah.
what if we get anything, we get bad ice, and it's the
bad ice.
worst.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah, so it was awesome. So, but it did again. We may have missed something. I don't know if we've missed back-to-back Sundays ever. I'm trying to think back in the 19 years, have we ever missed back? I don't think so. We've had Sundays missed because of weather conditions and things like that,
But
I
not
don't-
back to back.
I don't think we ever met. Yeah, so that was wild, man. We did in the middle of that throw in a Friday night service,
Which was
because
fun, man.
we didn't get to meet on Sunday morning, so we were like, man, we're meeting this week. We're not. This ain't gonna happen. Missing 2 worship gatherings back to back. So we did a Friday night. It was fun.
Well, it was
a good time.
crazy because like with 21 days, like when we do that, I mean, it is we've got momentum. Like that's one thing that like
Oh, man.
we may not have a ton of energy by the end, but we have
We're
momentum.
tired and hungry, but
That's true.
we got
But
momentum.
that was
That's
what was so
funny.
crazy is we had like we always finish our 21 days of prayer and fasting with a worship night.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we had those AM PM prayer services where we really focus in on praying for those 21 days, and that last day, which landed on a Thursday this year. We had that worship night to kind of finish it off and just send people out. So we had that worship night, and then that Sunday, no church.
Yeah.
And it was such a bummer because it
yeah, it's
was
fun.
like you're ready to
you're
go
fired up.
to go and do
What
this
a
thing.
worship
You
night,
get
though,
your
bro.
belly full and you ready to go for Sunday.
The worship night was incredible.
The worship night was
Yeah, That was a
amazing.
good time. Yeah, we do those once a quarter
Yeah.
here outside of our regular church, and so that's a good time, man.
Yeah. That's one thing that we've tried to prioritize and make it because sometimes Sundays, especially with multiple services,
Yeah.
we always want to make room for the Holy Spirit, whatever He wants to do. Like that's where we want to go. But realistically, we got more people coming in, and we want to reach
Praise
as
God.
many people as we possibly can. So for those worship nights, we've just prioritized like not having any kind of major like thing we want to accomplish other than to just bless the Lord.
Yeah.
And so those worship nights are really special. So if you don't even go to Faith Renewed Church, if you go somewhere else, but you don't have an opportunity to have those worship nights, even if your church does do those,
Yeah.
we encourage you to come join us.
Yeah, if you're in the
so,
area, if you're watching this, you live in the area. When you see these things come across,
follow us on Instagram or
Yeah.
Facebook, all the things, and we always put something up
Come on,
about
somebody.
it. So don't miss
those are
those.
good times.
Don't
Those are
miss
good
those.
times.
Those
Cool.
those are my favorite.
So that's where else have we've been. That's the main reasons, I guess, why holidays, 21 days, and bad weather. And so we finally got that. Man, sun came back out around here. The weather's temperatures have gone back up a little bit.
75 yesterday or something like that.
So we're back. We're recording again. So we're back.
For multiple reasons.
Don't call it
would've
a
been
comeback.
sick. Do you remember those? Oh, dude, I had these growing up. Do you remember the pants that had like the zipper like right around the knee, and you could take them off and you could turn them into shorts?
Yes.
Do you remember those? I think it would have been good on multiple levels. It would have been nice for you to wear those today. to represent, we're coming out of that crazy cold, the crazy weather, but also to reveal the wonderful thing that happened here in the middle of all this.
Yeah, I actually have some. I have a pair of fishing pants that do that.
Dude, you have to wear them.
No, I have a pair of
You need
fishing.
to wear them on a Sunday.
I have a pair of fishing pants that actually you can take the bottom half off.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case when you started fishing that morning, it was kind of cool and chilly.
Yeah.
But it warmed up, man. So, yeah, my knee, man. I had a couple of weeks ago, I had an encounter. If you've watched this podcast or know me, I love being outside. I would rather be outside than inside anytime. And I was cutting some trees, was working and doing some deer hunting prep and things for the next season, and had an encounter with a chainsaw, and not a
You
good
made it
one.
sound like it was like a rogue chainsaw you found in the woods.
It was
that, like,
just
attacked
he
you.
ran into me. I felt like it. No, it was rough, man. I took a chainsaw to the knee by accident, and I still trying to figure out what happened there. I was actually in the snow and ice when I was cutting some trees and working. So I don't know if I slipped or whatever I did, man, it was a bad idea, and cut my knee open and ended up having to go get stitches and all that kind of fun stuff. So that was yes. There's just been a lot going on, man. Yeah, there's been a lot happening.
I'll tell you what. Right now, we are no stranger to urgent care visits. We are about that life. I don't want to convey anything like we're bad parents or don't pay attention, but we are raising a boy who is all boy.
Oh boy.
So, man, I feel like the urgent care. I'm just a random topic. I'm just going for it.
No, we can. This is
I feel like
no
urgent
agenda.
cares have gotten so much better than when I was a kid.
Urgent care was awesome. I had a great
And sometimes I just want to go get sick, or maybe I'll cut my knee open just so I can go hang out.
I
They're
don't
awesome
recommend
there.
that. I almost say I don't recommend that. But no, urgent care was awesome.
No, yeah, I remember like going and you're getting stitches. You're like sitting there, just like I busted my chin open as a kid, and I was just like, we just had to sit there forever waiting on somebody to do something. And now,
Yeah.
I mean, they got that thing rocking and rolling. I
No,
think
it's
it's probably because there's like 20,000 of them now.
There's a bunch of them now.
So they're able to spread the load a little
they're on every corner.
It's
seems
like car washes.
Yes, but yeah, no, actually, I was in and out of there like an hour time frame, which was wild. So it was pretty cool. I had a great experience. But man, it's healing. Thank the Lord. That's getting better. So yeah, that was fun, man. Again, a lot of things have been going on.
Yeah, man, it's wild.
What else?
I guess it in kind of the spirit of 21 days of talking about that. The one thing that we had going on around here, we released an album.
Got to talk about it.
So if you don't
Gotta
know,
talk about it.
Faith Creative, which is our creative ministry here at Faith Renewed Church, that I'm blessed to be over that ministry. We actually released an instrumental prayer album. It's something we actually started doing
Our
last
second.
year. Yeah, so we
Second.
started doing it last year, the beginning of 2025. We released that, or maybe the end of 2024, and we talked about that on the podcast a little bit. But at the beginning of this year, I think actually on the very first day of 21 days,
Yeah.
it released. And that was kind of just like a journey throughout the last season of my life and my family's life. It was something I didn't know if I was technically going to do it or not for certain parts, certain bits of time, just with how crazy things were. But for anybody listening that doesn't know, my wife Kelly was actually diagnosed with breast cancer in August of 2025. And so that was kind of when the rubber was meeting the road, of making the album. I was kind of like starting to get to it, and then like world just kind of got turned upside down for us. She was 27 years old. We went and got this thing checked out, and we're like, obviously it's nothing. Like, it would be crazy if it was something. And it turned out to be something. And just shows that we never really know. We never really know. I didn't have a single inkling that it was going to be anything. And so throughout that season and that time, there was a lot of scriptures that I really clung to and really prayed into, and were things that encouraged me and brought me out of whatever it could have been in certain times was anxiety or just uncertainty. All of those things felt so heavy, but Jesus was still so much stronger in my weakness
Good, man.
that he was able to pull all of those things off. And I think part of the reason that happened was because of the revelation of these scriptures. So
Yeah.
if you go to any of the streaming services that you have, it's
Yeah,
live
yeah.
everywhere. It's called Into His Gates.
Yeah. Put
And
both of those links in the show notes
yeah, we'll put that
too.
in
Yeah, into his
in the show
course
notes.
and into
Yeah.
his gates. Put both of those in there.
And so those have been, and it's weird. Like any of the other music that we've released, I never listened to, but these I listen to.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, it's a good little marker of where I was during that time when we made it. But also, it's just these are made in because we want to create space. That's the real heart of why we started making these albums, is because we realized how important prayer was as a church individually. We realized how important prayer was and how it forms us. We're like, we need to create space for this to happen. With the way that your brain works and the way that my brain works, we are very easily distracted. Call it ADHD, OCD, whatever you want to call it. We call it SOE around here. But our brains are just always going a million miles an hour. And one thing that really kind of stills that for me is having something that kind of was created in the space of making that time for Him. And so that's what these albums are. And so we've seen a lot of fruit from it in our local church body, and if that's how He wants to use it, and that's the only way He ever wanted to use it, that'd be fine with me.
Yeah.
But we hope that if you're watching this or podcast or listening to it, we hope that it means a lot to you and can help you in your walk.
And we talk about things changing, as that's been like, over time. That's probably one of the things that has changed for me is what I listen to when I pray. I think for me, 5 or 10 years ago, it would have been extremely weird for me to listen to just something instrumental, period, of any kind.
Yeah, I remember arguing about that as I was younger. I was like, instrumental stuff's cool.
Yeah, and so are you trying to say you've influenced me to go that direction? Is that what you go take credit? You go take credit for my love for instrumental.
I mean, I made the albums that you listen to, so I guess. So.
All right, I'll give you credit for this one. All right, but no, for real, it is just I'd never listened to instrumental, period, and especially when I prayed. For me, I was trying to find that moving song of worship, which again, nothing's wrong with that. That's awesome. But I've realized I do end up spending more time in worship during those moments, which I believe is a part of the encounter with God. Again, part of prayer time is praise and is worship and is thanksgiving. But I would spend a lot of my time singing the song with them, thinking about the words of the song. So again, write songs, those are good. Yeah. But I do love that these albums. And so if you haven't prayed this way, maybe you're used to praying the same way I was for years, and again, not wrong to do it, and I still do it that way sometimes. But it's awesome, man, to throw that stuff on, and it helps me just set everything else aside, and I'm able to just really pray more, and I think listen better than I have in the past.
That's
so
good.
Man, I honor you for just killing it, man. These literally so good. So good stuff. I would put it up there with any other prayer album out there, what you guys put together, man. You killed it on that. So keep killing it.
I think for me, some of the most beautiful times that I've had in prayer is when I lost track of time.
Oh yeah.
And I think that, as silly as it sounds, these are really good at that.
It is,
And so I think sometimes, when I am listening to maybe worship music, things that have lyrics to it, I'm like, okay, that was 5 songs. I've been here for about 30 minutes. I can wrap it up soon. But it's cool. I think a lot of the times, you'll notice some of these podcasts run a little long. It's because we're having a good time. And we lose track of time. You say you lose track of time when you're having fun, or time flies when you're having fun. Man. And so I wanna lose track of time. I want to get lost in Him. I think that's one of the most beautiful things about a good relationship with Jesus is just getting lost in conversation with Him. So throw these things on and get lost in that conversation.
Yeah. So those will be in the notes.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it.
Sure. Another thing, this is a crazy time for us. In the middle of all these different things that we have going on, we are currently still in the process of trying to find a new place to gather.
Yeah.
As a church, and so kind of, if you want to give as much of an update as you can
Yeah.
on where we're at with that, we've been here for, how is it, 14?
16 years.
16 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've been here for 16 years. And so in the past probably 10 years of it, we've been kind of planning ahead and seeing what that looks
Yeah.
like. And now it's a real necessity to
Yeah.
maybe kind of find somewhere else.
Yeah. As I said earlier, 19 years as a church, and you talk about time flying, we having fun. It does not feel like it's been 19 years. I don't feel like it. I mean, at times it's been 19 weeks, and I mean that. I'm like, how did where'd these years go? But it has been incredible. We have seen God bless Faith Renewed, and we're very thankful for His grace over this house and how gracious He's been to us. But yeah, we have been here first 3 years as a church. We met in a movie theater. That was fun, and kind of neat. But we came here. 2010 was January 2010 was our first service here. So now 16 years in this, and we are currently in the process. We have a contract on almost 8 acres, about 10 minutes from here, and it's in Simpsonville, which is just I said, right down the road from where we're at. We had a Board of Zoning Appeals meeting yesterday, and so which means the property that we're purchasing is a residential property. We got special exemption through the zoning meeting and stuff yesterday, so now we are approved to be able to build on that property.
And that vote was unanimous.
Unanimous, man. Yeah,
so
7-0 vote, which was super cool, man. So, yeah, it's been a lot going on with that. We're doing our due diligence to make sure this would be a property that would work for us. It is, man, it's really, really exciting. This is going to be all usable property. It's in a great location. It's a great piece of property. We've had to go through the fun parts of being able to figure out sewer and things like that. Of course, it's not currently there, but that has been now solidified. We're set there, and so now we're at the place now we're about to schedule a closing date, and really exciting. So we will close on that property hopefully real soon, and we'll keep you updated on how that's going. But hopefully close on that property. We want to purchase that. Our goal will be to build on that property a new facility and a new home for Faith Renewed Church. So that's cool, yeah. And good news, a big blessing is it's only 10 minutes from here. One of the things as a church, and if you're moving locations, you want to keep your people in mind who drive here.
Yeah.
And so we were just praying that the Lord would somehow work that out, so we're not 30 minutes down the road somewhere. And so he's given us a great location, man, really great location, Fairview Road, 810 Fairview Road, and maybe you can drop the plans or something in here on
that'd be
the
cool.
screen.
Yeah,
we already have some early conceptual drawings and things like that that we're working on, and so it's been exciting, man. It's a very big blessing. Answer to prayer. We've been looking probably for the last 6 years.
It's been a long journey.
Yeah, I would say probably 6 years, maybe 7 years.
And I think it's one of those things where, like, in the middle of it, it's like, why is this happening? Why? It was like every single thing that seemed so promising just would fall through. And it's like, what in the world is going on? And then we find this, and it is like the quintessential, like, most perfect place we never thought like this, something like this could have been fallen into our laps, especially with where we live. It's not like we're not the hottest upcoming area, but I mean, there is a lot of stuff going on in Simpsonville, Martin area.
Yeah.
And so it's a big deal to be able to find something like this and get into it, especially as a church, because there's 1,000 businesses that probably could jump on it or do something.
Right. And we've seen some favor there, and the Lord's been good. We had what we felt like was God spoke to somebody and gave them a word for our church, and we'll talk about words in a minute because we want to talk about some of the stuff happening and prophetic movement and things that are going on. But there was what we feel like, something that was spoken over our church that God was going to place us in the middle, and we kept that word "middle" was being spoken, and we know that as far as the physical part, I love that ministry can now go around the world, and we can minister, and it's happening in all parts of the United States and other places through our podcasts and through our live streams and stuff. But physically, where God was going to place us as a church, we did feel like that was a golden strip area.
Yeah,
it's the term we call here in our area. If you're watching from outside this area, from Malden, Simpsonville, and Fountain Inn.
Yeah.
And so we've been in Malden for the last 16 years, and we kept hearing that the middle he was going to place us in the middle, and now Lord's placed us right in the middle of the Golden Strip, and so in Simpsonville. So it's exciting, very exciting. So we know there's going to be a process to this, but we believe in God's going to do something. So if you're watching, man, want to help us make that happen, you can actually give to that, and because on his. There's, going to be a lot going on
we're
there.
taking this thing in phases.
Yeah.
This is going to be, our big, we haven't even said this yet, it's funny. Our big thing that we felt so strongly to kind of call this campaign was building a legacy.
Yeah, say that.
So something that we're not doing here is we just feel like the Lord doesn't rush things. He does things in his timing, and we're just going to trust his timing in this, and we're going to do this thing in phases, and we're going to build something that lasts.
Yeah.
We don't want to come in and just throw something up because it works right now and we need a little bit more space. We want to build something to where your grandkids, my kids, we can they can grow up in this thing and raise their kids. That's what we want. We want this thing to last till Jesus comes back.
Amen.
And so that we're building a legacy. I maybe this is a bad place to say this. I'll be here for a couple more podcasts, but I may be gone pretty soon. I am 4 minutes away from the church right now, and I'll be 8 when we move. So I don't know if I can make that commute. Did I do a good job at making that sound serious?
You did sound serious for a moment. I didn't believe you were serious, but because I know you. You're still going to have pretty good setup there, man. Yes, and it is. It's exciting. So that is, it's happening. It's something we've prayed for. Many of you watching, I know, have prayed for and listening to this, have prayed for us, and so who are a part of this process. So thank you for helping us get here and for what's going to be next.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, do you want to jump into the big topic? Do you want to go for it, or do you want to do small talk a little bit more so we don't have to talk about it?
I don't know. Well, I guess we can jump into it. If this is Conversations of Faith, and it's where we talk about things that matter most. And I don't know if I want to say this is what matters most, but it matters. It matters a lot, and especially within this, some of the Spirit-filled movement and the things that we're a part of when it comes to the Lord and His work and what He's doing, the work of the Holy Spirit. There's a lot of things happening right now. A lot of exposure is happening, and to what has been termed in the past the cover-up culture. Yeah, mm-hmm. and so we were just talking about, should we discuss that? Since it is a big conversation right now in the faith community, and so we're just going to talk a little bit about it. We'll just hang here as long as we need to, but there's a lot happening there. It was for me, I guess the snow days that really got me into it, and I guess tracking what was happening, what was going on there. There is a well-known podcaster out there. His name's Mike Winger, and so if anybody familiar with Mike Winger, man, he really started putting out some podcasts exposing some of the things that were happening within the prophetic movement in churches and those sort of things. And so during some of the snow stuff, I was like, well, I'm not going anywhere. I'll take a little time and maybe watch something I typically don't watch or do. And so I started watching some of this stuff, and man, my heart broke.
Big time.
Dude, my heart broke. I guess to hear some of the things that are happening with that, I guess my heart broke because that leaders would choose to make some of the decisions they've made. I don't know how some of those decisions were made. If they have any understanding of one day they're going to bow before a holy God who they say they love, I would have too much fear to do some of the things. But yeah, some serious stuff happening there. You want to talk about it and introduce a little more?
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, you can go watch the video. I almost just said, we're not going to name names, but that would be wild. I think that's just kind of the
it is what
normal,
it is. I mean, we're not
going to talk about it.
We're not accusing anybody of anything.
Yeah,
we're just saying
we
what's
watched a
going on.
YouTube video.
Right.
So, we, big ups to Mike, for sure. He, I mean, probably hundreds of hours of research and talking to victims, and so I mean, I
didn't really hardly have time to listen to it, much less take all this in, but it was. Yeah.
So I mean, what he's doing is a serious calling to to do this, and I think from watching it, he took it very seriously, and
That's
so
very serious.
not taking big cheap shots, which has kind of been some of what you would see in the past. I would say
Agreed.
from certain of those people who I guess would say like their ministry is to expose or to like call out people who are doing. Some people would consider that their ministry, like to like, and I don't. That's one thing about
Yeah.
him. I don't think he considers that his ministry. I think he just saw the need for it.
Right. Yeah.
And was
Yeah,
going
for what I'm
for
hearing on
it.
the videos,
So,
he would rather not make the videos,
mhm.
but because it wasn't being made by some people within their own movement, or wasn't getting the traction by some of the things that were made by people within the own movement, and he had a following that brought more awareness to it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things and I think he talked about it a little bit, is that the reason that these videos have to be made is because the proper thing isn't being done. Like when somebody does something wrong and it is addressed properly
Hmm.
and things are done the way that they should be done, it's not a big story. And the reality that we live in is that we live in a fallen world. These things are going to happen.
Yeah.
We have broken people who are leading in situations that maybe they shouldn't be leading in, but broken
Absolutely.
people are just going to do things. And that's just the reality of the world that we live in. But if those things are handled the right way and they are addressed and they're made public, regardless of what it kind of does to maybe your reputation, you have to address these things the right way and make sure that they're handled. And that's the problem here.
Yeah.
The problem isn't that somebody did something wrong. Obviously, that is an issue.
Yeah.
But the problem is that it is perpetuated by what he is calling and kind of like coined like the cover up culture, to where we are just going to keep our mouths shut and not say anything, and maybe we'll kind of silently put this person to the side that we've endorsed before, but we're not going to say anything because maybe that would kind of put a bad taste in their mouth for our ministry now.
Yeah.
And now it's put a way worse taste in people's mouths
Yeah.
because these things have come out and showed that they've been hidden.
Yeah.
And that's just not okay. So I think that that's kind of the big heart of why he's put these videos up and why this has become a big thing is because
Right.
nobody's telling the truth.
Right.
And that's the problem. So if somebody's messing up, you tell the truth, good. We'll work through it and then it'll be done. But when you're not telling the truth and not handling it, that's going to be an issue. So the first one, he's posted like 10 hours worth of videos, I guess, in the past little bit on these two big things he exposed.
Yeah.
Was Sean Bowles and Todd White are the two big ones who were big names in kind of our circle, the charismatic circle. And so he has posted two videos. I don't know if we'll get into like the weeds of like what I don't know if it's super fruitful for us to do it today.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, he talked about it way better than we did and addressed it. Cause I don't really necessarily want to misrepresent anything.
Yeah.
Like I guess here
No, we don't
because
do that.
like, again, we watched a YouTube video once. Like we know as much as anybody that watched
And I
the
skipped
YouTube.
through some of that because it was
Yeah, it's
so long.
It's long,
but it
and
was
we got a lot going on.
yeah.
So,
But I guess, all right, first of all, let's talk about some of what has been exposed. A lot of what was exposed, and this is where the tragedy is that they were using, trying to say, these are prophetic giftings, which at some point may have been. We don't know that, and maybe somebody operated in that way at some point. They liked the attention that it brought them instead of, saying, man, that brought some attention to the Lord or whatever reason. They began to build ministries around that. I don't know if they felt the pressure now, like I have to continue on because of now
scale has to get
they're
bigger,
looking at me, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I have to keep this going. So they were outed. Some of these, especially Sean Bolts, was going on Facebook and getting information about folks and was coming before the church services and congregations and conferences and acting like he was getting a word from the Lord about these folks, that he had the knowledge that he got off of Facebook. And he built some big ministries off of this stuff. People supported him. One of the big things right there was Bethel Church, who just supported him. We do a lot of Bethel's worship music.
Yeah.
And I know some people hate it, but I think there's some great songs that come out of that church and the music there. And so it got platformed, and one of the big problems was that like Bethel Church especially, they platformed them, and there was some.
I think they gave him like a title in the church, right? He was like the prophet of the house, or
something
like that. I don't know the exact term that they were using.
Yeah, so they platformed, and as a result, in that movement, in the charismatic movement, which I don't, you can't put us in one movement. Because we're just Bible movement is who we consider ourselves.
Sure.
So it's hard for us to identify one specific movement, but in that movement, the charismatic movement, they are one of the big names and well known. And so it was one of the situations where, man, if Bethel has, Sean, then man, we need to have him. And so it literally, his ministries, quotation marks for sure, exploded. And became massive, and everybody was getting him, reading his books, and pumping him up. And it wasn't healthy for him. He wasn't in a situation. And then sexually, some things were exposed that were going on behind the scenes, and so just a lot of stuff. And the problem became when it was exposed. The problem was, as you were saying, Adam, is the fact that for them, they didn't want to publicly, out some of this stuff, in their words, to protect the ministry as a whole and the prophetic movement as a whole, because that may hurt them. But man, that was a bad decision.
Yeah,
on their part.
Very clearly, it was a bad decision.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing is, if you've ever like publicly platformed somebody and endorsed them and like said like, hey, like this is somebody that you should be following, and then something happens and it was maybe done behind closed doors and it was never like publicly addressed, and you never show like that you've pulled back. Like, I guess their stance was that they had pulled back at some point.
Yeah.
But they never publicly made that known. And so anybody that is not in their inner circle is going to say, okay, this guy's still cool.
Right.
Like, we're still good with this guy. He's still clear to do this thing. And so if you never make that stance public that like, hey, like there was something that happened, this guy's dangerous, you need to stay away, then you are still condoning it.
Right.
And I think that that's like the biggest thing is
I agree with that.
We're even still trying to platform him.
Yeah.
But once you already have, then like I think they even like pulled maybe his books or whatever from their stores. But that's done in silence. That's done where nobody's really gonna notice that. Like nobody's gonna be like paying any attention to that. You have to make it known, and that's where the ball was dropped.
Right.
That's where the ball was dropped.
Yeah.
So it's a tragedy. It truly is a tragedy because, I mean, the thing is when things are never exposed, I don't think there's ever truly justice for victims.
Yeah.
And people are still going to be just living in bondage and hurt, and we have to do the right thing and expose that. So, I mean, I really think that's kind of most of the story of what happened with him. Then the other big one would be with Todd White.
Yeah.
Which his is more so centered around, we don't know of any of like what you were saying, like there was like sexual abuse issues with the Sean Bowles thing. We don't know of any of that as far as I know with the Todd White stuff, but more of his stuff is kind of what's happening behind closed doors. I think there's issues financially. There are issues with, I think he's made claims that like he hasn't sinned in the last 18 years, which is wild.
Yeah, hadn't told a lie or something. And
hadn't told a lie.
No sin, yes,
lying about certain fasts
which is a lie.
that he was doing.
It just is a lie, bro.
Yeah, like, but lied about certain fasts he was doing, saying that he was doing water fasts, where behind closed doors he's doing, the smoothies and all the things. And it's just like, what's happening, and I get it, because like life is already hard enough, especially for people that have gotten involved in these ministries. life is already hard enough when maybe he could have been a hero to you or anything like that, and you just kind of want to just get out of Dodge and you just kind of want to go. But what some of these people have come forward and shown is like, hey man, there's some real issues here, and we can't just silently. Again, it goes back to the silence thing. We can't just silently remove ourselves from the
Mm.
ministries. We have to expose something that is unhealthy,
Yeah.
and that is just not truth.
Yeah.
So he made a video about him as well, and is not just like him just kind of just talking about it or making assumptions. He's got real people who were really involved in these ministries,
Yeah.
and I think some people who even called themselves best friends,
Yeah.
who were very close and very involved and are talking about real issues. And again, this is somebody who's been endorsed
Yeah.
by other
Absolutely.
very large ministries and churches,
Yeah.
and know these things are going on.
Yeah.
When you're this plugged in with somebody, you know these things are going on, and they're just pulling up, maybe pulled away, pulled books or pulled videos or whatever it may
Yeah.
be, but still not exposing this thing for what it is and
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, this guy's dangerous," and that's important.
I feel like, even just using the word expose, I mean, I want to just say, just shine light on it,
It's true.
and just
Yeah.
just try to get it out of the dark. And so, if it can be hidden, if it's in the dark, it can stay, stay a mess. But if it can get in the light, and if it can be brought to light, that that opening passage about sun setting you free, I believe these guys can get freedom. One of the big conversations around that as well right now, and is the fact, what does restoration mean for that person? Does
Mhm.
restoration mean they're getting restored back into ministry, or they're just restored back into the family of God, into the church, or whatever? And so, and I think it's hard to, label that, and I guess depends on what it is and what's going on. But that's one of the big things as well. Some people would just say, well, if they're restored now, and they put them back into the same positions and places, and those are tough things. I think there's very much, a higher accountability,
Yeah.
a higher, the scripture's clear on that. These are the requirements to be in some of these positions. And those requirements, as we can see, are there for a reason.
Yeah.
Because when you step outside of that, what happens, and the amount of people that have been hurt,
Yeah.
is heartbreaking. And I never, I mean, I don't know if I've ever really watched Sean, or,
I
Boats
never.
at
Yeah.
all. I probably may have seen something, maybe he said, I would say little to nothing. I've watched some of the Todd White videos of healings that he's done on the streets and stuff, which they
Mhm.
say some of that's is fake, and and
Yeah.
so I don't know. So never, it's really spent a lot of time there. But Pastor Robert Morris, who was out there, Gateway Church, man, he's someone I did listen to, and
Yeah.
so uh, you know when you see light was brought forward in some of the things from his past, that's tough, and
Mhm.
I'm solid, man. It didn't change my faith or hurt my faith at all. It hurt me for, that church who's now going through it because of a leader who was supposed to be in a higher place of
Yeah.
accountability, has fallen.
Yeah.
It hurt me for the victims of those that they've, hurt and have kind of been pushed down, and so they
Didn't get
weren't.
justice.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
didn't get the justice there. And what's so sad is, we're like, what's the big deal about somebody giving a fake word? There, some of the things that came forward was there are people who got married to people because they believed that the word that was given to them was from the Lord, and their ministries and things that were done, money that was spent, investments that were made. There were a lot of things that happened because there were people who were using the name of the Lord to do it. Man, that's just a very.
It's abuse and it's
It's a
manipulation.
yeah, yeah.
I,
It's
I think
sin.
that's the biggest thing, and this is where like the two roads kind of intersected with it. Was one of the quote unquote prophecies that Sean Bowles gave was to Todd White's ministry
Mm.
about their
Oh,
big
yeah.
campus that they
Yeah.
were supposed to get. So that's where the two roads, and I don't know if that's how he kind of connected the pieces and ended up making both videos, and but the one of the big things is that I guess they kind of knew behind the scenes that this product or this property was already available and they were going to do this, and so let's
Mm.
make this big prophetic word to make it seem like this is something that has to happen to get people to open up their
Mm.
pockets.
Wow. Ooh,
Um,
that's scary.
and that is abuse and that is manipulation.
Yeah.
And that video that had that, once Sean Bowles kind of got exposed and we knew that he
Mm.
wasn't a good guy anymore, like we pulled that video down, like Todd White pulled that video down, and then it was just not talked about.
Yeah.
So people were still led to believe that that word was legitimate. There was no ulterior motive. There was no like foreknowledge to this thing. And they were led to believe this, and then they were never corrected.
Mm.
And so that's why if they were corrected, if they're like, hey, you know what? Turns out this was wrong. We didn't know this, whatever,
Yeah.
however it played out. This wouldn't be a big story.
Right.
It would be horrible and it would
It'd
be
be
wrong.
Yeah.
But the big story here is, okay, we know this is wrong, but we just
For
covered
years,
it up.
we covered
just
it
covered it up. And that's where this thing is, because there's already been so many things come out in the past. I mean, 100 years or whatever, you know, that the Western church has kind of been what it is. There's been things come out, and people just don't want to be a part of that story, I guess. I don't know. I mean, obviously,
I guess the name of the uses the name of culture of honor, but that's not honor.
It's definitely not honoring congregants.
It's not honoring the Lord.
Supporting the ministry.
Yeah, it's not honoring the Lord. It's not honoring people, as you're saying there.
Yeah. And so I think really what all of this is truly done in, it is done in like a spirit of self-preservation. Because you don't want to give up what you have. And I mean, obviously, realistically, like Todd White and Sean Bowles put a lot of time and energy to it. Dude, if you're up late at night, like stalking people on Facebook so you can give them words, that's a lot of work. So they're like, I've done all these things. And so all of these things are done in self-preservation to try to keep up something that they have and make something happen that's just like the Lord's not blessing. And I think that's the thing. We've talked about this recently of like the whole like follow your heart thing, and it's like Scripture's very clear that our hearts are deceitful. And I think something that I've heard is to tell people to follow grace, and I think like the Lord graces things and covers things, and if you're having to make something happen on your own, it's probably not the right thing. And so what we see from these guys is they're making this thing happen on their own, and then they just fall into sin because of. I think a lot of times these guys are falling into these things because they're so stressed out, they're so overworked, and they're so are already hiding certain things. And then it's like, okay, I just need this. Okay, I just need this. And these things are in the dark, and they just get messier and messier and messier and messier. And then we get exposed and show the light on it. And it's just,
what's the root of those
horrible
things? I mean, I guess pride or greed or
I think it's a lot of that.
All those are things that are connected to it. And one of the things I support is to remember that, you know, if you've got folks out there that are faking things, it means there is a real thing. And that's where I feel like some of the guys who, and I don't feel like Mike has done this. I don't feel like he said, that the gifts of those things aren't real. I think he has done a great job of saying, no, there's our giftings of prophetic giftings, and there's gifts of the Spirit, and there's things that are out there that are real. These guys are just faking it. Where a lot of the folks who would say, and we've done podcasts on spiritual gifts and things, and maybe you can drop those in the show notes, but is the fact that if they're faking it, means there is something that's real. It just is what's frustrating is when someone says, well, that's not real at all. None of those things are real, and none of those things are. No, absolutely, man. Gifts of the Spirit are as real as they've ever been, and if just because somebody's abusing it, again, that's something they'll have to answer for. But it doesn't change the fact that there is something real.
And I think that's the real danger here. I think obviously there's a huge danger of you know, you're playing with fire. I guess literally and figuratively. You're playing a very dangerous game, obviously with yourself, but like there are people's like real faith journeys at stake here. And that's people who have been like saved through these ministries. When this thing comes out, that's when you've got like I think that's why a lot of the deconstruction stuff happens. You know, you have people that just start to question everything because that one thing was a lie.
Yeah.
You know, and especially if it was the basis and it was the beginning, you know, it's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard, especially if you haven't been in it very long, you know, and you don't have like a deep history with the Lord, but like your history is kind of just based off of this one thing, and that turns out to be a lie. It's like, okay, maybe the whole thing is. And it's like
tough. Wow.
It's you know,
That's why it hurts
for
so
me,
many.
it's frustrating sometimes.
It's very frustrating.
It's frustrating from like a, hey, how can you not see that this guy's just a, excuse me for saying this guy's just a loser? Like don't pay attention to him. Like you got to keep your eyes on Jesus. Like they messed up. You don't have to mess up now because they did. Two wrongs don't make a right.
That's good.
So it's frustrating from that standpoint, but also it's like, man, that's just unfair. You know, it's like anybody that was like hurt by somebody, like we talked about it with Cindy. It's like we have to say like, this is unfair. This shouldn't have happened, you know, but we still have to move forward. And it's just like, this is unfair. Now we're putting so many people in horrible situations that never deserved to be there.
Right.
Just because of selfishness, of greed, of pride, of lust, of all these things. It's just like we're putting everybody else in these horrible situations that they never deserve to be in.
Yeah.
And I just hate it.
Yeah, I do too, man. Our prayers, you know, now for the victims of these things, the churches that are involved, and for the people who are doing it, that they will recognize, you know,
100%.
that it's wrong. I think what's the tragedy is right now, still both of those two that main ones here, and that light's being shined on, still yet to in any way acknowledge anything wrong on their end.
100%.
There's been no repentance there, and that's a tragedy within itself. And so do pray that their eyes are open and they can get some restoration in their life, not to be in certain places of ministry, but in their life and in their heart is restored,
it's huge.
And their eyes are set back on Jesus. So, but man, it is wide. Anything else on our list, you know, that we got to talk about?
I mean, we had the Super Bowl halftime mess.
Hit it quickly. We'll hit it quickly.
I got to be honest. I don't really want to talk about it, not because like I'm nervous, but just because like I'm super not interested in it.
Yeah.
Just
I don't know if I posted, like, is there a way for me on my social media to opt out of all the Super Bowl posts that I'm seeing on here? Because it was just halftime posts, and I got tired of seeing it and didn't want to see it. But yeah.
I think this is one
conversation.
of those situations where this is just kind of my take on it. You know, where we are called to be in the world and not of it. I think if you were super into either option, or if you were super like so upset about either option, which like to be honest, thought they both were horrible.
Yeah.
I liked the little extra verse that was added in the All American halftime show. Yeah. I like that little verse he added onto that song that gave glory to Jesus. And I think obviously any time like the world does what the world's gonna do, like it's weird that we're getting so upset about it. We know this is happening.
Yeah.
Why are we? I'm bummed that like obviously all this cover up stuff that we're talking about is happening, and like I hate that the world has fallen. I hate that we live in a messed up world. But like I'm not gonna sit up and like be like crazy like up in arms about it because it's what the world does. Like this is what's like this. We know this is how it works.
Right.
I personally, on a personal note, I think if Charlie Kirk saw that halftime show, I think he'd turn over in his grave. I don't think he would have approved of that.
I do wish they could have taken it direction which most people thought it was originally going to go in, was with Forrest Frank and maybe Corey Asbury, some of these other, you know, really strong, point you to Jesus folks, and not some who were kind of maybe in between. You know, so and that happens, and I agree. I don't know if Charlie would have approved or if there ever would have been one if he had been around. Yeah. You know, but because that takes away from his calling. But you know, again, you're going to see people. But it was wild how people were judging on so much judgment on both sides of those things, depending on what you watched, what you didn't watch, and it's just wild. I personally don't watch a whole lot of sports, period, and watch any of it, but it's unfortunate how some of those things can go and where people can take those things, man.
Yeah, I think this is just where I'm at, and like we're not like super legalistic. Like we listen to secular music. Like we're not like super against that. Obviously, we will listen to way more worship music and way more Christian music than we would that. But like the reality here is like I'm not going to be like celebrating somebody that's not glorifying the name of Jesus. Like I'm not going to be propping anybody up that's not about like the business that I'm about.
Amen.
And like to just be like fully just like clear about it is just like if any of us are like propping up somebody that's like not about kingdom business, like we need to be really careful. Like we've already seen like in this whole conversation that we've had that it's even like we're propping up people that we think are about kingdom business and like it's still falling. I don't want to be propping up anybody that's not about the business that we're supposed to be about. And so like I'm just going to keep like going after the Lord and like pray for those people that, you know, that were involved in either side, because like we all need Jesus. We all need his grace. And celebrating one halftime show over another is never going to bring that.
It definitely, you know, as far as the one for the Super Bowl itself, halftime show, you know, nothing in that was to glorify the Lord. So that's
sure.
off the table. I do pray that the Lord used that one.
100%.
Maybe if it was somebody who tuned in because their political preference or to go against the norm and they wanted to go because, you know, we love America. You know, I hope maybe something was said and something was shared in that verse that was added to Cody Johnson's song. You know, maybe we'll point them to Jesus, you know, but I would love to see it be more focused on and get some of these guys, get CeCe Winans in there, man.
Let's
get you know, get
CeCe in there.
Get Forrest in there, some of these guys, and the reason that, you know, they were not is because the vision for Turning Point, and great work somebody they're doing in some ways is it became, I think, focused more on the political side and then it was the faith side. And so, but I would love to see it if they're going to do something like that, because that was what Charlie was focused more on. Faith was above his, it was first, according to his own testimony. His faith was above anything as far as do with politics. And so I wish they would have leaned more towards into that. But I guess it was cool.
That's just where I want to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's cool to have an alternative because,
Why not?
Absolutely, for that was cool, man.
Yeah.
So, man, this has been our first podcast in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, did we miss anything else on our list? I know we just threw stuff down there.
I know I said a lot because I'm not used to being in this chair, so sorry for all the ums.
I think you did great, man.
Thanks.
It's a culture honor we have here, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, man. We're going to be doing, you'll see us again. So we're looking forward to hanging out with you guys more. Grab your coffee, listen to us on the road, wherever you're going to, and just help us spread the word that this thing's back. Conversation's back.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's go. 2026. Let's
go. Until next time, just keep us in prayer. We're praying for you. Comment, say hello, let us know where you've been checking this out from, and we look forward to our next conversation of faith.
Amen.